We're rambling, baby. Ooh, ooh, we're rambling, baby. We're rambling, baby. Ooh, ooh, we're rambling, baby. We rambling, baby. We rambling, baby. We rambling, baby. We rambling, baby. Focus on your focus and keep being great. Dropping unexpectedly like bird shit. Focus on your focus and keep being great. Call me baby. Focus on your focus and keep being great. Call me baby. We rambling, baby. We rambling, baby. We rambling, baby. We rambling, baby. Thanks for coming over. We rambling, baby.
The haters, how could I not make it? Thoughts of a general, Prince, my savior. Doubts from the haters, how could I not make it? Using all of that to my advantage and motivation. Plans to position myself in power by rolling papers. The boss life, put my feet up on the table, setting examples for my son to make. Icy hot in my touch, feel like a burn from the freezer. So every time I touch a track, I gotta burn that damn thing up.
Who this?
Don't need to worry about it. It's gonna be hot.
Thoughts of a general, Prince, my savior. Doubts from the haters, how could I not make it? Using all of that to my advantage and motivation. Plans to position myself in power by rolling papers. The boss life, put my feet up on the table, setting examples for my son to make sure that he's stable, so he can know it's worth it, and I know we know he's able. Making the right choices, the wrong ones can end up fatal. Yeah, cause I know that life's a never-ending battle, falling down slippery slopes, so either climbing ladders. Yeah. Just to see what dreams are made of. You shooting for the moon, but just make sure you aim tough. Yeah, your capital was like a catapult and throw the weight up. Intelligently strategize, watch how things change up. And now the street chat, it make you seem tough. But the fight to the top is when you see what you're really made of. They saying that I can't, they hate, I know. When they start talking down, they hate, I know. But with a plus, there's a minus, it should follow. I know. I know that I'm a youngin' and yeah, I know. They tell me live my life, you only got one. But with pride and faith, there's a happy home. I know. So faith without work is dead. So why niggas is partying, I put in work instead. I learned the true values of life, it's love and purpose, man. I mean, it gets deep about a minute. Spend all the time in the world working for $1 in 5 minutes just to spend it. In 5 G's, I have a man lifted. But why you spend it? Devise a plan, stay on point like syringes. This check life that I'm living. I'm suffering my consequences from having sight without the vision. Or shall I say no blueprint to make the vision vivid? While I'm dying to live life, monumental. I tell the small brains, they said, boy, monumental. Stop dreaming and never mind what you're into. Reality's at your fingertips. A dream, you better off hitting the lotto before you let a dream you into. They saying that I can't, they hating, I know. When they start talking down, they hating, I know. But with a plus, there's a minus, it should follow. I know that I'm a youngin' and yeah, I know. They tell me live my life, you only got one. But with grind and faith, there's a happy home. I know. They saying that I can't, they hating, I know. When they start talking down, they hating, I know. But with a plus, there's a minus to should follow. I know. I know that I'm a youngin', yeah, I know. They tell me live my life, you only got one. But with grind and faith, there's a happy home. I know, yeah.
Yo. Hey, back in the house once again, again. Ooh, yeah. Dropping unexpectedly like Bershey. Yeah. Yo, for those of y'all that's gonna fall upon the replay or something, I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming over. Yeah. Even if you guys the replay, you gotta come in right now, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You guys that replay. But anyway, checking in once again. I hope everyone is doing great mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. My done fell up in here. Hey, yeah. How are you doing, sweetheart? How you doing? How you been doing, lady? You been good? You been good? Hope you been good. Are you doing good mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally? Yeah. How you been? That is the cutest little freaking dog. I love your picture. Yes. Checking in once again, y'all. I have been doing my dues. Taking care of what and who and all the people that I have to take care of and look out for and everything. I wanted to come up here and talk about just having emotional intelligence, y'all. Okay? And emotional intelligence is being aware, having control, expressing your emotions, and knowing how to handle interpersonal relationships judiciously and empathetically, y'all. I see a lot that goes on in life. And of course, oh my gosh, you had pneumonia. And why you laughing about that? That shit ain't funny. Girl, don't make me look. I'm gonna come beat you up. Don't be laughing because you got freaking pneumonia, girl. But how many of us are aware of our emotions? Like we get on here, somebody be like, somebody you rock with going through it with somebody else, the bandwagon and stuff happening, forces, you know what I'm saying? Like, that click shit be formed unconsciously or consciously. And we get all wrapped up in this bullshit called social media. Do we express our shit to the best capacity? I know we do a lot of it be's a lot of flipping out going on, and it's just people start doxing and they get in their feelings. Somebody say, ew, that shirt you got on ugly. Your wig don't look good. It's twisted to the side. Your lipstick was ugly. My nigga, them Jordan was fake or some shit like that. And the next thing you know, kaboom! Guess what's stepping up in the room? Doxing, pulling up people's ancestors, calling people's jobs and talking about people's kids and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Peter Savoy and John Mayer, has been defined, not for actually coining it, but emotional intelligence has been defined by Peter Savoy and John Mayer as the ability to monitor one's own and other people's emotions, to discriminate between different emotions and label them appropriately, and then to use emotional information to guide your thinking and your behavior. Now, then you got dude that's a psychologist, Daniel Goleman and stuff, right? He helped popularize emotional intelligence and then gave you 5 key elements for it. Self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. How many of us find ourselves socially awkward sometimes? You know what I mean? A girl, Chaplin, look, I can't even front like I stay out of the drama because I'm connected to people that I talk to offline. So even if I'm not directly in it, it still comes to me. Now, it's a lot of things I think is just, repetitive. And it to me, it gets boring. But so, I stay away, but I still hear about it. So, now when you lack emotional intelligence, it's hard to understand how you come across to others. You might feel misunderstood because you don't deliver your message in a way that people can understand. Even with the practice, emotional intelligent people know they don't communicate every idea perfectly. Now, I wouldn't, I don't, I wouldn't classify myself as, I wouldn't label myself to be emotionally intelligent or whatever. But throughout life, I have, learned to maneuver in certain situations. Like it was a situation I wasn't privy to actually being front and center of it, but something came up about using being or having autism in a derogatory way, like as a joke. You know how people joke sometimes, oh, so-and-so schizo, oh, no, they must be autistic, or, throwing little jabs like that. You had those type of jabs, and, you got the other type of clowning shit. And it hits people's emotions, and people will go the fuck off. Now, they tell us, 5 skills to help you develop emotional intelligence, but how well are these 5 skills incorporated or whatever? Now, one thing that we must do though, we gotta practice self-awareness. With most things emotional, you can get better at them until you know what the fuck they are. When you lack self-awareness, trying to manage your emotions is like sitting in a tiny ass boat without a sail on top of the sea of your own emotions, completely at the whim of the currents or whatever is happening moment by moment. You ain't got no idea where you going or how to get there. And all you can do is scream and yell, help! Help me! Now, self-awareness involves understanding yourself and your behavior. What What you doing? How you feel about it? But the hardest part they claim is figuring out what you don't know about yourself. Now, knowing what you're doing, you would think this would be pretty simple and, straightforward. But the truth is that in this 21st century, most of us don't even know what the fuck we doing half the time. We on autopilot. We'll hop on YouTube, check our Facebooks, get on our Instagrams, go to work, go to appointments and stuff like that, come home, cook, help your kids out with their homework, talk about what they done did for their day. You know what I'm saying? And so on and so on. Removing distractions from your life, like, turning off your damn phone, staying off of freaking YouTube. It's something this man got you punching walls and breaking glasses, and you get to the point you got to do some pull-ups on motherfuckers. You got to turn off this app or change the motherfucking channel. I hear a lot of people, oh, I don't do no YouTube. I stayed off of YouTube. Trust and believe. I don't stay off of YouTube because there's a lot of other shit. I stay away from around, hey, first lady, thanks for coming over. How you doing, lady? Mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally, girl. How you doing? Now and then engaging with the world around you is a nice first step of self-awareness. Finding spaces of silence and solitude, while potentially it's scary to some people, but it's necessary for our mentals. Then we got the other forms of distractions like work, TV. You might take you a little drink. Some folks play video games. They argue with people on the internet. I ain't going back and forth with these niggas. You gotta schedule time in the day to get away from that shit. I'm guilty of doing my morning commutes, going to get my clients and stuff, and I'm tuning in to somebody beefing with somebody. Well, I can't say, I come across that beef shit and all of that shit sometimes, but mostly I like good interviews, good documentaries and all of that stuff. But I do really engage in, the drama part of it. All drama ain't good drama to me. You know what I'm saying? Just think about your life. How you really feeling? I wonder how many people meditate. I mean, everybody don't believe in the same thing, but how many times? It's a lot of people that's scared to even be alone. I love to be by myself. How many of us take the time to just don't get on social media, period? Stay off your freaking phone. Not yet. Stay off your phones, your computers. Go outside and people go outside, but are we really taking in our surroundings and what's going on? But we tend to use these distractions to avoid a lot of our uncomfortable emotions of this real life. So when you remove these distractions and start focusing on how you feel without them, can reveal some kind of scary shit sometime to people. I hear a lot of people be like, damn, I can't be alone. Oh, I can't go no day. I go crazy if something happened to my phone or my data run out, or you know what I'm saying? But removing distractions is critical because it get us to the next level. Then we got to know what we are feeling. At first, once you actually pay attention to how you feel, it might freak you out. You might come to realize you often actually pretty sad, or that you kind of angry at some asshole. You know what I'm saying? Or you the asshole. You might even realize there's a lot of anxiety going on. and a whole lot of what? Social media addiction. And this shit real. Thing is really just a way to constantly numb and distract yourself from your bad feelings and your anxiety and stuff. But it's important at this point not to judge the emotions that arise. You will be tempted to say something like, ugh, ah, what the fuck is wrong with me? But then that's just gonna make it worse. So whatever emotion that is there has a good reason to be there, even if you don't remember what the reason is. So you can't be too hard on yourself about that. Hell yeah, you got to shut. I'm telling you. Why can't I can't completely shut the world off, but I can do the social media thing. Because when you got people, when you moving and shaking, depends on what type of work you do. Like you have to be focused. On my job, the only thing I do, because I'm a community guide. I do community guide for people with disabilities and mental addictions and different stuff like that that's going on. So I find them resources to assist them with their needs. So I'm all day running around, trying to get the best. I can't be on YouTube. It's some people got those laid back jobs that they sit and sneak peeks and all of that stuff. If I'm driving, I do it, or catching a lunch. And I don't work many hours either. And I did that on purpose so I'll be able to be involved with my child. I know that. Me too, First Lady. You got to be mindful. You got to be mindful of who you let yourself be yourself to. You know what I'm saying? You can't completely shut off the world because you got doctor's appointment. I mean, you got to be out here. You got to do things. So, you know what I'm saying? And when I go out, I don't be all up on my phone and all of that stuff. I got to pay attention to what is going on. I can't be all on no phone yapping and texting and trying to check nothing. You have to be aware of what's around you. I ain't saying live in fear and do all that. Well, as long as you happy. I only got one child too. My daughter, and girl, she keeps me busy. She dang on sure do. Knowing your emotional bullshit. Once you see all the icky, uncomfortable stuff you feeling, you will begin to get a sense of where your own little crazy resides. Now, how many of us really know our crazy? Know what's gonna tick us the fuck off? Know the limits that we, you know what I'm saying? So you try to stay out of situations that's gonna let that out because you know what I'm saying, the creator ain't all the way through with me yet. So I do gotta pop off side. I'm very reserved and calm on this internet because I really reach out and touch people, and that's a problem that I have. So for me to argue with a fool that's a million miles away, get my blood pressure up, have a freaking headaches and all of that type of stuff for this social media shit. No, if I can't get a good laugh, it's some touchy stuff, but you know what I'm saying? I might say a few words, but then I just got to fall back because I only got so many reserved nerves. And those reserved nerves are for my real life and my daughter, my husband, and my grandma, and people I have to really deal with and be there for in real life. But for instance, they give an example, again, really touchy about being interrupted. They talk about how they get irrationally angry when, how when people try to speak and then the person that you speaking to is distracted. And then they go further to talk about how they take it personally. And sometimes it's just them being rude. But sometimes shit happens. And they talk about how they end up looking like a total dick face because they can't stand going 2 seconds without every word being respected. And a lot of people get that way too. Hey, I'm gonna tell you what's funny. Y'all ever be talking to somebody and I know that's right, girl. Damn right. You got 2 kids, child. I was one and done. For real, for real. Y'all ever be talking to somebody and their lips be moving like they trying to finish what you saying? Yeah, that do kind of annoy annoy me too. But you know what I'm saying? Even when you get to that point, that's being your emotional self. And it's only by being aware of it that you can react differently and don't. Now, just being self-aware is not sufficient in and of itself. One must be able to manage their emotions too. Then they go further about channeling your emotions well. People who believe that emotions are the be-all end of life often seek ways to control their emotions. You can't. You can only react to them. Emotions are merely the signals that tell us to pay attention to something. We can then decide whether or not that something is important and choose the best course of action in addressing it or not. Like, we can't control nobody else's moves, but we can always control ours. Now that's we damn sure can do that now. There's no such thing as a good or bad emotion. They are only good and bad reactions to your emotions. Anger can be a destructive emotion that's misdirected and hurt others or yourself in that process. But then it can be a good emotion if you use it to correct injustices or, protect yourself or others. Now, we as mothers and stuff and parents, like that's just natural. That's natural for our asses to do that. I'm protective of anybody I fuck with. But I find the ways to like, you know what I'm saying? You got to find the proper ways to do it. Like, I'm just not. No, you can't. Why you want to paint? Stop painting. Now, this is my favorite emotion, joy. Joy can be a wonderful emotion when shared with people you love, when something good happens, but it can be a horrifying emotion if it's derived from hurting others. Like, you know how people do their lives, they get on here, they done doxed everybody, they done pulled some shit up. Oh, their focus is on a bullshit focus. Their focus is on getting back at a motherfucker. Oh, they did me like this. Oh, I'm gonna get them. That's some crazy joy to have. And I speak, y'all know one of my sayings, focus on your focus. And it's some people's focus to tear others down. Some people thrive off this shit. They get up, motherfuckers probably be dreaming about it in they sleep. Oh, I'm gonna go fuck this motherfucker up tomorrow. Oh, wait till I get on YouTube. The people that fuck with them gonna find out this, that, this, and all that shit. Oh, and they are so full of freaking joy. And that shit wild as a motherfucker. Such is the act of managing your emotions. Recognizing what you're feeling, deciding whether or not that's an appropriate emotion for the situation, and acting accordingly. I know we get all riled up and we might blast squeeze first and ask questions last, but it's levels and you can really see the truth of a motherfucker, because you got some motherfuckers like was lightweight to me, it's some heavyweight shit to others. So that's a button that's pressed and they go right to defense mode and talk about your kid, or go right into docs mode, or pull up, get that embarrassed. And it's sad, but it's people. The whole point of this is to be able to channel your emotions into what psychologists call goal-directed behavior, or what the author prefer to call is getting your shit together. But sometimes, are we aware that it is a problem? Or we so hyped up that this bad behavior that's derived from this emotion, we think is the right thing to do. And then we got a pep rally squad that's boosting. So who is going to be that person instead of that yes man to pull you to the side and be like, shiggity, check yourself because you wrecking yourself. It's in the refrigerator. Go get it. Learn to motivate yourself. Have you ever lost yourself completely in an activity? Yeah, we get caught up in doing that sometimes. I know I do. Like you start doing something and get immersed in it. And then when you snap out of the quasi-hypnotic state, you somehow induced in yourself. You realize 3 hours had passed, but it felt like 15 minutes. It happens to a lot of people. Like when I'm listening to my music or trying to write me some songs and stuff, I lose myself in it. And the author talk about how he lose his sense of time and get this cascade of subtly led feelings when he's fleshing out ideas in his head and putting them into words. He's talking how he gets caught up in writing. All you gotta do is look. That's y'all problem. Y'all don't look for stuff. Y'all expect me to get up and do it. You gotta look. All you gotta do is look. Look for it. It's like feeling a fascination mixed with slightly frustrated intrigue, mixed with little bursts of dopamine when he feels like he just came up with a great line or a funny poop joke or somehow got his point across without cursing. All of us find ourselves doing that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Girl, I love me some music, child. I love writing it. I love singing it. Me and my daughter got this app called Shmule. So we get on there and we always like she get on there and be a whole choir by herself. I like harmonizing with myself, so I put in different parts and then I do my instrumentals with trying to rap. But you know what I'm saying? That's what you call the do something principle. And it's probably one of the simplest yet most magical hacks that you can ever come across. The do something principle states that taking action is not just the effect of motivation, but also the cause of it. Emotional intelligence motivation. Most people try to look for inspiration first so they can take some momentous action and change everything about themselves and their situation. They try to pump themselves up with whatever flavor of mental masturbation is in style that week so they can finally take action. But by the next week, they done run out of steam. They done run out of their steam. They ain't as amped as they used to be. And they back at it again, jerking off to another method of motivation. But to turn this on its head completely, when you need to be motivated, just do something that's even remotely related to what you want to accomplish. And then action begets motivation, begets action. If you don't like anything, if you don't feel like nothing motivates you, do something. Draw a doodle, find a free online coding class, talk to a stranger, learn a musical instrument, have you some sex, write you a song, write a book, write in a journal, learn something about a really hard subject, volunteer in your community, go salsa dancing, shit, build a bookshelf, write a poem. Pay attention to how you feel before doing it after whatever it is you're doing, and then use those emotions to guide future behaviors. And it's not always good feelings that will motivate you too. Sometimes when you're frustrated and really fucking annoyed, you say exactly what you want to say. When you anxious and this shit takes a lot of freaking time. Yeah, girl. I'm gonna give y'all the thing when I finish it where all this coming from. It's called the 5 skills to help develop emotional intelligence. Then you got to recognize emotions in others to create healthier relationships. Everything that was covered so far deals with handling and directing emotions within yourself. But the whole point of developing emotional intelligence should ultimately be to foster healthier relationships in your life. Or, you know what I'm saying, just build up being cordial better. And healthy relationships, romantic relationships, family relationships, friendships, whatever, begins with recognition and respect of one another's emotional needs. You do this by connecting and empathizing with others, by both listening to others and sharing yourself honestly with others. That is through vulnerability. Now, we're not talking about let your guard down and do this with everybody, because you can't play everybody too tight now. You know, you can't play everybody too tight. To empathize with someone doesn't necessarily mean completely understanding them, but rather accepting them as who they are. Even when you don't understand them, you learn to just value their existence and treat them as their own end rather than a means for something else. You acknowledge their pain as your pain, as our collective pain. Now, nobody is telling everybody to be an empath, but you know what I'm saying? This is what your important relationships and stuff. The ones you want to maintain and build and keep strong and healthy. Relationships are where emotional rubber hits the proverbial pavement. They get us out of our heads and into the world around us. They make us realize we are part of something much larger and much more complex than just others, than just ourselves, I mean. And relationships are ultimately the way we define our values. And lastly, number 5, infuse your emotions with values. Now, when Daniel Goleman's book came out in the 90s, emotional intelligence became the big buzzword in psychology. CEOs and managers read workbooks and went to retreats on emotional intelligence to motivate their workforces. Therapists tried to instill more emotional awareness in their clients to help them get a handle on their lives. Parents were admonished to cultivate emotional intelligence in their children with the aim of preparing them for and changing emotionally oriented world. A lot of this sort of thinking misses the point, however, and that is that emotional intelligence is meaningless without orienting your values. You might have the most emotionally intelligent CEO on the planet, but if he or she is using their skills to motivate her employees to sell products made by exploiting poor people or destroying the planet, how is that being emotionally intelligent a virtue? A father might teach his son the tenets of emotional intelligence without also teaching him the values of honesty and respect. He could turn into a ruthless, lying little prick, but an emotionally intelligent one. Men are highly emotionally intelligent. They understand emotions quite well, both in themselves and especially in others. But then they end up using that information to manipulate people for their own personal gain. We see that happening a lot too. You know how somebody you think they're your friend, your confidant, you can talk to them. Time you talk about their damn ugly ass feet or some shit, they done use everything you done spilt to them to come back on this motherfucker and embarrass you. You know what I'm saying? They value themselves above all else at any expense of others. And things get ugly when you value little outside of yourself. Lisa Nowak, for all of her brilliance and expertise, couldn't handle her own emotions and valued the wrong things. Therefore, she let her emotions drive her off the proverbial cliff, going from outer space to incarcerated space. Ultimately, we're always choosing what we value, whether we know it or not. And our emotions will carry out those values through motivating our behavior in some way. So in order to live the life you truly want to live, you had to first be clear about what you truly value, because that's where your emotional energy will be directed. And knowing what you truly value, not just what you say you value, is probably the most emotionally intelligent skill that you can develop. This was kind of good, y'all. They got footnotes from the biggest proponent of EQ is Daniel Goleman. That book, who made arguments like this in a seminar back in 1995. They got who else they did? They mostly got the stuff from their book. From this Daniel Goleman. He wrote a book on called Emotional Intelligence. You know? And it's just like this shit don't happen overnight. This shit is an ongoing battle. It's a journey. It's a process. But I like the end of that shit. Like, what do we really value? Who are we really? Yeah. But yeah, it has been grizzy. I want to thank all y'all for taking the time to come over. Because y'all could have been anywhere else. But y'all came up in here with Call Me Baby. And I appreciate anybody that come over. You know what I'm saying? So I want all y'all to keep being great. I want y'all to stay focused on your focus. And hopefully it's for the good. Encourage yourselves as well as others. And on that note, I'm going to see y'all. Peace and so much love.